I never imagined my Tuesday shift would end like this. The ER was chaos, as usual. Blood, screams, the metallic scent of antiseptic mixed with desperation normal for a trauma doctor. But that night, the moment I got home, things spiraled into a nightmare no protocol ever prepared me for. My son, Liam, had just turned 17. Bright, a little rebellious, obsessed with electronics. He was in the garage, tinkering with one of his homemade drones, headphones on, oblivious to the world. I remember calling his name twice before he finally looked up and grinned. That stupid, lopsided smile I'd come to associate with, "Mom, I might have broken something." Then the knock came. Not a knock, a pound, like the house itself owed someone money. I opened the door to a wall of black helmets, rifles, armored vests, SWAT. Before I could say a word, they screamed, "Down on the ground!" I froze. "What is going on?" I shouted. They didn't answer. One of them shoved me aside, storming in. My heart dropped as I saw them storm toward the garage. I screamed, "He's just a kid!" But they didn't listen. They kicked in the garage door and there he was, startled, headphones ripped off, hands up. I tried to push past them. "He's my son! He didn't do anything!" Then it happened. Crack. They tased him. His body convulsed. He hit the floor like a rag doll. "Stop!" I screamed. "Please stop!" And that's when I said it. 5 words. 5 words that made every armored man freeze. Mid-step. "I'm a trauma surgeon," recording. For a split second, time fractured. Confusion flickered in their eyes. One of them barked something into a radio. "I said I'm a doctor," I yelled again, pulling my phone from my coat pocket, thumb already on the record button. "Everything you do is being documented." Silence. Then, the leader sergeant maybe stepped forward. "We received intel about a bomb being built here." "A what?" I choked. "My son is building a drone for his science fair." Another officer walked out from the garage, holding a small drone in a shaking hand. This is a toy. It's got no explosives." But it was too late. Liam wasn't moving. I dropped to my knees, checking his pulse. It was faint, but there. "You could have killed him," I screamed. None of them looked at me. Not really. Not until I added, "I will testify. In court. On camera. In my hospital uniform." And then, finally, they started to retreat. But I wasn't done. Not even close. You think that was the end? That was the beginning. Because 24 hours later, someone tried to erase the body cam footage. I didn't sleep that night. Liam was in a hospital bed, twitching in his sleep, lips dry and cracked, machines beeping too slow for my liking. I sat beside him, clutching his hand. Phone still in the other, still recording. Out of instinct now. The trauma wasn't over. Not even close. At 6:43 a.m., my hospital administrator called. "I saw the news," she said, voice tight. "Are you okay?" "No," I said flatly. "They tased my son in my own home." She was silent. Then, "Be careful." "What do you mean?" "There's already a statement circulating. Says your son was resisting arrest and found with suspicious materials. The hospital board received it last night." That's when I knew. They were already covering their tracks. I drove straight to the police department, medical ID around my neck, video file on my phone backed up in 3 different clouds. The moment I walked in, 2 officers shifted in their seats. One of them reached for a phone. "Can I help you?" the receptionist asked. "Yes," I said. "I need to speak to your internal affairs department. Immediately." 10 minutes passed. A man in plain-clothes detective harassed me into a dim room. "What's the issue, doctor?" "Monroe. Dr. Evelyn Monroe. And the issue? You nearly killed my son based on false intel, and now someone's trying to erase the evidence." His face didn't flinch. "Do you have proof?" I handed him the phone. Full recording. Audio and video. Time-stamped. No weapon. No resistance. No cause. He watched for a full 2 minutes. Then, without a word, he locked the room. "You understand this complicates things," he muttered. I'm sure it does, I snapped, especially for your department. Then he looked me dead in the eye. Dr. Monroe, someone on the inside flagged your address. It was a red file, special clearance. Someone high up sent that SWAT team. This wasn't just a mistake. My blood went cold. What are you saying? I'm saying whoever did this, they didn't just want to search your home. They wanted a scene. He handed my phone back. You need to be very careful, starting now. Back at the hospital, things got worse. Liam's scans showed temporary cardiac arrhythmia, but there were more problems. His skin showed traces of a second charge, as if he'd been tased twice, not once. They only admitted to one. And that's when I remembered body cams. I requested footage. The response? All body cam data was corrupted in a server failure. All of it. From every officer involved. Coincidence? Not likely. I called a friend, a journalist. She owed me a favor after I saved her brother in a crash 6 months ago. I need this on the news, I said. I can help, she replied. But if this is as big as it sounds, they'll come after you. Hard. They already did. 2 hours later, her article went live. Trauma surgeon says son was wrongfully tased, police claim corrupted footage. It went viral. Then the threats started. Emails, private numbers. One message stood out. Drop it, or next time we won't miss. I didn't drop it. Because the next day, I found something they didn't expect. A hidden recording from Liam's drone. Still powered. Still recording. And what it captured was everything. The footage started with static muffled garage sounds, the occasional whirring of the drone's rotors. Then, footsteps. Heavy, purposeful. The camera angle was tilted, tucked under a bench, forgotten. But the audio was crystal clear. Garage secured. Kids got a drone, no weapon visible. Then another voice, sharper. We're still going with the takedown, orders from upstairs. But he's not resisting. Don't care. Make it look clean. That was it. Proof. They knew he wasn't a threat. They did it anyway. I stared at the screen, frozen. My hands were shaking, not with fear this time, but with fury. This wasn't just misconduct. It was a setup. I copied the footage to a flash drive, then 3 more. One I mailed to my sister out of state. One I hid in my locker at the hospital. The last I kept on me. By the time I stepped outside, reporters were waiting. Dr. Monroe, is it true your son's drone recorded the incident? I didn't answer. Not yet. Instead, I called the only person I knew with the guts to go public fast, my journalist friend Maya. We've got video, I said. Uncut, undeniable. They lied. The story hit national news within hours. Headlines lit up. Secret drone footage reveals SWAT misconduct. Doctor exposes corruption with son's hidden camera. Social media exploded. The police department held a press conference. The chief stammered through a vague apology, claiming procedural failure and miscommunication. But it wasn't enough. Because now, the footage was out there and with it, pressure. By the end of the week, Internal Affairs launched a formal investigation. 2 officers were suspended, but I knew that wasn't the end. Because someone started following me. At first, I thought it was paranoia. A black sedan behind me more than once. A figure outside the hospital parking lot, watching. Then my hospital locker was broken into. Nothing was stolen. Except the flash drive. The one with the drone footage. Luckily, I'd made copies. But this wasn't a warning anymore. It was war. I moved Liam to a private recovery facility under a false name. I hired a lawyer, and then I went back on TV. I have more, I told the camera. More evidence, more names, and I won't stop. That's when things escalated. Late one night, my apartment door was jimmied open. No sign of forced entry, nothing stolen. But I found a note on my kitchen table. One word. Enough. I handed it to my lawyer the next morning. You still think this is about one botched raid? He looked at the note, then at me. This goes deeper, much deeper. Have you heard of Project Red Signal? I shook my head. It's an old federal initiative. Counter-terrorism. Off the books. Supposed to have been shut down years ago. And your name and address match a database they used. Someone revived the project. You were flagged. For what? I'm a doctor. He sighed. You treated a man 6 months ago. Gunshot wound, no ID, no fingerprints. He vanished from the hospital 2 hours after surgery. I remember him. He said his name was Mark. His real name was Marcus Delaney, former NSA analyst turned whistleblower. You saved him, and someone didn't like that. I sat back, stunned. So this isn't just about Liam? No, it never was. Now I had a choice. Stay quiet, protect my son, disappear, or finish what I started. I looked down at the final flash drive in my hand, and I made my decision. I uploaded the footage to a private server overseas, then sent links to every major news outlet, human rights organization, and legal watchdog I could find. In less than 24 hours, the world watched as a grainy drone video exposed the darkest corners of a secret operation gone rogue. The footage hit mainstream television. Evening news anchors repeated the words intentional use of force, fabricated intel, Project Red Signal. That was the spark. And the fire spread fast. Whistleblowers began to surface. Agents, medics, even a few soldiers people who had been part of the project or brushed against it, each with stories, evidence, names. Someone started a forum. Voices from the Red Files. It exploded in popularity overnight. But I wasn't watching the screen. I was holding my son's hand. Liam had woken up that morning. His voice was scratchy, weak, but clear. What happened? I told him everything. Every second of it. He just stared at the ceiling, eyes wide. I recorded them, he whispered. You saved yourself, I said, and a lot of other people. A week later, Congress held a hearing. They called me to testify. I stood before a packed room of lawmakers, journalists, and cameras. I wore my hospital badge, my white coat, my truth. My name is Dr. Evelyn Monroe. I'm a trauma surgeon, a mother, and a witness. I recounted everything: the raid, the lies, the hidden program, the threats. And then I handed them the final flash drive. This, I said, is the story you tried to erase. The room was silent, except for the sound of truth hitting the floor. When the footage played, even the most stoic faces cracked. What they saw couldn't be denied. The orders, the second taser, the voice confirming the takedown despite no threat. A senator leaned forward. Dr. Monroe, are you afraid for your life? Yes, I said. But fear won't stop me. Because if it happened to my son, it can happen to yours. After the hearing, indictments followed. 6 officers were arrested. 3 federal agents were named in sealed documents. 2 high-level officials resigned for personal reasons. The Project Red Signal database was shut down. Permanently. Or so they claimed. But I wasn't naive. Truth is a virus to people like them. It doesn't just die, hides, mutates, waits for silence. So I stayed loud. I joined advocacy groups, helped other families, trained doctors on how to legally record incidents, how to protect evidence, how to push back. Liam, he finished that drone. Entered it in the science fair. He called it Justice Won. He won. But he doesn't talk about what happened much. And that's okay. Because every time that drone flies, it's proof that even in the shadows, truth can still soar. And for those watching this, wondering if it's real, I ask you one thing. Look closer. Not at the footage, not at me, but at your silence. Because it's not just one story. It's a warning. And it's only a matter of time before they knock on your door. Don't wait until then. Record everything. Tell everyone. And never, ever stop fighting. Because justice isn't given, it's built. One file, one truth, one voice at a time. Even if it starts with just 5 words. I'm a trauma surgeon. Recording. Fade to black.